I've asked Judith Milling, who is one of our Birman breeders here in Tika, if she would be so kind as to talk about the Birman cat, where it came from, what you can expect, the care, and Judith, it's all yours.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a good time. This is Short Corky. He was born in a U year of the alphabet. We go by the alphabet. That's the French version. So last year was a U year, which means he's over a year old. What we're going to talk about is the Birman cat in a nutshell. And there's a lot of myth behind it, legend. Technically, they were white, solid white cats with gold eyes, raised in the Tibetan monasteries with Kita priests. And when marauders came in, they killed the priest, the head priest, and the white cat sat on the priest. And their god, the god they worshipped was a gold god with turquoise eyes. And when the priest died, the soul of the priest went into the cat. As the cat looked at the golden goddess, the body coat changed to a golden hue. The ears, the tail, and the legs became the dark color, which original color is a seal point, the sign of the earth. And as he sat on the priest, the white paws stayed white for purity. And then when the cat dies, and the soul dies with it. So you could go from the priest into the cat, and then the soul dies with the cat. Supposedly, if you want to believe it, a breeding pair was conveniently given to Vanderbilt for his mistress, and on the way to France, the male died, and the female was pregnant. If you want to believe any of that, they really don't have a final clue as to how they really got started. I just think it's pretty cool. That was the first Birman shown in France. They were recognized in the 1920s in France, and England did it in 1966, and then in 1959, a pair was given to Mrs. Griswold, who brought the breed back up. So they had to outcross. There's no way when you only have a breeding pair. So they brought other breeds in, we think, possibility of Persians or Abbeys, whatever was available at the time, to bring the breed back. We are a pure breed now. You cannot breed any other breed to have a purebred Birman. It has to be Birman to Birman. Another big breeder was Frances Price, Timing Cattery, which I actually had one of her cats years ago. I actually got my first Birman in 1971, and they were being shown around 1967. They were almost wiped out in World War II, and that's why when they were brought to the States, they had to outcross. No! And you already changed it. Thank you. You're not supposed to. Okay, that was the original. The next was the bells, the sacred bells. And the original pair did come with the sacred bells, which was to keep the kittens inside safe. And now the judges at a Birman show, if the judges find one Birman that really takes their heart, then they will award the silver bells to the Birman. I have a set of silver bells at home. I know several people who have them. But this is a replica. All of the different references is astrology. It means different things. It's associated with the moon, having mystical powers. Owning a Birman is believed to bring financial success. Yeah, right. And happiness, which it does. They're a very unique breed. Their white body symbolizes, the white on the feet symbolizes purity. The blue eyes is wisdom and spiritual. Can I do this? Thank you. So this one here, these are your description. The ideal Birman, the coat remains cream colored, as light as possible. We have the white feet, which are called gloves, and the back are called laces. Ideally, they should match, but as long as they're there, it's okay. If there is a color going through a toe, it's a DQ, it's disqualification. And they're very hard to get. It's called a whitening gene, and trying to get a show quality is very, very difficult. They, the deeper color eyes is ideal. They almost have totally round eyes, but not quite. They only have one coat. They do matte a tad. I just took a knot off of him earlier, but not as much. He's a little bit shorter haired than some Birmans, so they can have range from a little bit shorter fur to a little bit longer fur. One thing about the Birmans, like not with the Persians. The Persians have, from the nose, they have a rounded dome. Birmans have a flat spot. Some judges say that's where the brains used to be. They are very smart cats though. The nose is what we call a Roman nose, and that's taken from when the Roman warriors wore the headdress, and the plate covered the nose, and that's why this nose is like this. Ears set, the ears should be as tall as they are wide. That's ideal. We have Birmans that have donkey ears, but they still can be shown, but that's ideal. He's a very nice representation of the Birman. Babies are born solid white, and at about 2 weeks, they'll start to develop a color on their nose and ears. Seal shows up first. Then blue, and then what we call dilute colors are your blue, your creams, chocolates, lilacs. We have every color that you could possibly want in a Birman. Just depends on what the parents are. Personality. What can I say? We call them Velcro cats. They're very sweet. They're dog-like. They'll follow you around the house. This is what you get. Socialization. It's all in socialization when you're breeding. The more they're subjected to children and dogs and the household of people as kittens, they become very, very sweet. I have a veterinarian technician that works with me, and by the time I get them back, maybe, they're extremely wonderful cats. They do make a perfect pet. And well, sorry about that. This one, you can see the deep blue eyes. This is a red point. And again, the disposition, they don't like being left alone a long period of time. Usually, if you have another pet, it's really good, or you get 2 Birmans at once, or household pet. Anything to keep them company if you're gone, working away from home. I recommend you don't board them, that you keep them in your home and have somebody come in if you're going to be gone for any length of time. I added a few. This is one of the girls that I used to have. She was rehomed. And, well, okay, here's some of the colors. The top one here is a tortie, a seal tortie. She's got red and seal point color in her. The bottom one is a blue. This one is a seal point. Over here is the chocolate. He is a chocolate smoke, and up here's the red. Now the next set of pictures, a bunch of my kittens. We glued them to the scratching post so they'd stay up there. You can see how sweet their disposition is. I mean, taking pictures is pretty easy. This was taken a long time ago. My hair wasn't gray. And the cat, to show you how sweet they are, I'd never met this cat before. Oops. And I went to another show, and I just leaned in. This friend of mine has this Birman. I just leaned in, and she leaned forward, and the picture was taken. So she didn't even know me. So that's how sweet these are. So basically, that's the Birman in a nutshell. And I think that's about it as far as the presentation. Oh, and if you have any questions about the breed, the prices, if anybody asks, the prices can range anymore from $1,500 to $2,500, depending on what you're looking for. Anything less, usually those are scammers. So you have to be very careful if you ever want a Birman. And on Tika website, there are breeders listed, and you can find a breeder listed. I think there's only 2 of us listed right now. Also, BirmansUSA.com. You can go to the state and find reputable breeders. But other than that, so any questions at all? Oh, yeah.
Do they like being held or carried at all? Or do they actually like ask for it? You said they're Velcro.
They do. I mean, some of them are a little bit wiggly. But like if you're sitting in a chair, it's like in your lap. I have a 20-year-old, and most times she sleeps, but she will follow me around the house a little bit. I have a 16 and a 13-year-old, and especially with 16, he'll follow me around the house because he knows it's dinner time or breakfast or lunch or whatever. But it really depends, and male and female, there's no difference. I know people question whether, I don't really want a female because they're not that sweet. It doesn't make any difference. And I think that's typical with other breeds too. But honestly, with a Birman, I have never noticed the difference, whether it's a male or female. They're very inquisitive.
There you go.
They are chewers, so you have to be careful with your electrical wires, and you cover them. I have little holes all in my lamp wires and stuff. So it's like with any breed at all. And health-wise, that's what I didn't cover. Health-wise, it's the same as any other cat. So there are 3 basic things. HCM is the cardiomyopathy, which is the thickening of the heart muscle. The other one is PKD, which is the kidney disease. And the worst one is FIP, feline infectious peritonitis. There are cures for wet and dry. UCL Davis and every cat, they've been doing a lot of research. Right now, there are 84 shots that you give the cat, and hopefully, if you catch it in time, they'll survive. And that's probably 98% of the time. They have pills that is compounded by Stokes Pharmacy, and now they've come out, and I don't know much about it, with a half serum, which is 45 days, I think. I don't know right now. It hadn't been proven long enough. If I would use it, I would still go to the shots. It's very painful. You have to have somebody that's really experienced to give those shots. But they can be cured, which is good. But I guess that's about it.
Is Perky full grown? Like how heavy do they get?
Boys get 8 to 10 pounds. I used to have one that was 12, but he's a little bit of a porker. The girls range about 6 to 8 pounds. And again, it depends on the stud and the dam. Some of the kittens are a little bit smaller. The girls might get maybe a little over 5 pounds, but as they're growing, they should weigh a pound a month. And then, like most breeders, will not allow their babies to go home to a new home until they're 4 months old, because they're a little slow. And we always say that's because of this area right here. But we like them to stay with the siblings and the mom as long as they can. Some breeders neuter ahead of time and spay. Some don't. I do not spay or neuter at 4 months. I don't think it's a good idea. I always tell people 6 to 8 months. But everything else, most breeders will have everything else done. Your upper respiratory distemper. I still don't like to do rabies, but if you're going out of state, Florida, out of the country, you have to have the rabies shot on the plane. If anybody's flying anywhere in the States, you have to have a rabies shot and a health certificate. So it can be quite busy. So they're a medium cat, size cat. They're not big, they're not small. Your Maine Coon's the biggest. The Ragdoll is next, and then the Birman, as far as these longer breeds, long-hair breeds. Now you can step on it. And he's been spoiled. And I mean, he's a whole cat, so for him to be this sweet as a whole cat, a lot of males are not. And both of my boys at home are really sweet.
Are they fairly quiet? Because he hasn't meowed at all.
He doesn't make a lot of noise. He is extremely quiet. I don't. When they do meow, it's not like a Maine Coon that's a trill, but it's an odd, light sound normally, unless they're hungry. But really, I don't think I've ever heard him meow at all. But it's a very sweet, sweet breed, just like a lot of other breeds. But my heart is with the Burmans. Like I told you, I've been doing this now for 14 years, and I've had people say, because they are difficult to breed, not only because some of the moms don't have enough milk, and I call it skim milk in the Burmans, where Maine Coons have whole milk. But the breed itself is pretty well basically healthy. But it's any cat. Any cat can come down with anything at all.
Yeah. Are the litters small? Do they only have like?
Most of the time. I had one girl that she always gave me 6 kittens.
Oh, wow.
And I just spayed her recently because her last litter was only 3 and she was 7.5, and that's way past her prime. It's not fair to her. Most breeders in the Birman breed usually get 4 to 5 kittens normally. And it can be heartbreaking, and it can be fun. So you have to be willing to accept the heartbreaking part. And have it all set up for breeding purposes. I have girls at one end of the house, and my boys, they have an outdoor run, and my boys have their own stud cages with outdoor runs. So most of the time they're outside in their outdoor runs with the bumblebees. That's about it, unless anybody has any questions. Other questions? Thank you so much for coming to the show. I hope you're having a great time. And here comes the original breeder, because he's up. Thank you.
So sweet.
Thank you.